If the incline bench press never built your upper chest, then you are not doing it right. So in today's video, I will cover the most common form mistakes and explain in full detail how to fix them forever, so that you can finally grow that top shelf. First of all, I do not recommend a super low incline for upper chest. Yes, it's a great overall mass builder. It'll improve your raw bench. You're getting a better stretch on the pecs, comparable to weighted dips, dumbbell bench, deficit push-ups, camera bar bench, etc. But if you want upper, then you need to raise the angle of the incline. So for all you home gym guys, stop being cheap, buy an adjustable bench. So check it out. If you're using stall mats or a simple 12-inch plyometric box, which can be found in most gyms, then you will end up with a 15 to 20 degree incline bench press. That's not even 30, the lowest setting on an adjustable incline bench. If anything, it'll be a true flat bench because a lot of you guys are arching so hard that your flat becomes a decline. So this is restoring you to the original angle where you're not using powerlifting form. So ditch this plow box unless you are intentionally using a very shallow incline for the purpose of building your flat barbell bench press. So for powerlifting, it's a good accessory. For bodybuilding, no. So this is the flat setting. You bring it up by 1. Now we're at 30 degrees, which is the perfect absolute angle. But if you arch, it'll become that 15 degree, which I just showed you. Let me prove my point. Getting tight, chest is up. It's the same range of motion and feels 1-to-1, except it's a bit more stable because at least there's no lateral shifting from the plow box. So I can go really heavy on that variation. In fact, you see me do 315. Am I wrong or what? You tell me. Compare the joint angles, be honest, and even look where I'm lowering the bar. There's a reason why guys like to do this. It's because they can lift more weight and they don't want to admit it. Because there's nothing wrong with arching on an incline bench if you arch to the proper angle. So setting number 1 is usually 30 degrees. I want you to go to setting number 2, 45 degrees. So for 99% of gyms you go to, the incline bench is preset to this exact angle. And now I understand why. It's like the gym owners knew that guys are going to arch the incline bench. So all along, 30 degree was the correct answer, but it was more the question of how are you going to get into 30? So every time you arch or adjust a setting, it usually changes by around 15 degrees. So logically, it makes sense that you can now retract your scapula, keep all the tightness benefits associated with benching and also protecting the shoulders and being able to go low, but you're now in that optimal position. Now here's the caveat. I am not telling you to use a flat back with 45 degrees. You must arch into 30. So you have a choice now. So either you will do 30 degrees without arching or you will do 45 with an arch. Please refrain from just laying like this because now you are going to feel your anterior delts way more. So all you have to do is the same cue as any other bench press you've done in your lifting journey. Pull, retract, chest up, and keep it up. And the way you know what I'm saying is correct is by simply examining the chin angle in relation to your upper chest. It must be above. If it's not, then the angle's not right. If the sternum was elevated like this, then I'd have to raise the height 1 more. But I'm good, and most of you will be too. We're staying tight, but there's another thing that makes it more upper chest, not just your body angle, and that is where you bring the barbell. See, a lot of guys will still mimic their flat benching form. Bring it down low, sometimes even here, which is horrible, and it's just gonna dump off you. You're gonna feel your delts too much. So a lot of guys will bring it straight to the nipple, or at least far away from the actual upper chest muscles, and that is a big mistake. Instead, you want to lower in a straight line directly to the clavicle. Not on your fucking neck, but it's close enough. So right on the muscle. And press up as if you are doing a Smith machine incline bench press. It's not a J curve. Don't let the bar land on your sternum and then press back. Stay back and keep the movement pattern in a straight line. This will also make it way easier to lock out your elbows. Ever notice how many guys get stuck at that midpoint, but only on higher inclines? Is because you're pressing away from the body, creating an additional moment arm, which makes it almost impossible to move heavy loads. And that's another reason why you probably didn't like 45 degrees. But you need to treat this like an overhead press. The motion is similar. No, pressing back is not more delts. In fact, I would argue that when you bring the bar lower down, that's more stretch on the anterior deltoids. It's like everything that we've been taught has been backwards. The bros were right. So check it out. You unrack it, and right from this position, lower in a straight line. You could flare the elbows a bit. And look where it ends up. Wow, on the clavicle. And then press straight up from here. Okay? If you press forward, it's almost impossible to lock out. That is the worst form I can possibly conceive of. Stop. This is not a reverse grip bench. Point A to B, the shortest distance, but back. Not the shortest distance of being in front of the body and creating all these fucking moment arms. Here. I know I'm getting riled up, but this is personal. My upper chest is one of my worst areas for years, and my incline pressing strength was disgustingly low. So there's only one way to incline bench, the old school way. And if anything, just start doing this in the Smith machine for a couple months just to teach you this lesson. Because once you've mastered that movement pattern, you will never go back. I can promise you that, and your upper chest will finally grow. So one last time, where you lock out is where you should maintain. Straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. Go slow if you have to. When you bring the bar to the clavicle, you're also getting more arm bend. So that's another extreme benefit. You get more weight of stretch on the pecs. Regarding tightness, you may notice that unracking is easier when you're not in retraction. So some guys will stay protracted at the top and then retract the bottom. Now, if you find this awkward, and keep in mind I'm not recommending this, you can technically stay tight the entire time, but then skip the lockout. So you're doing a lengthened partial. And keep in mind, the inclined barbell bench press is all about the weight of stretch. So even when we talk about following the direction of the fibers, it's kind of irrelevant here. So skipping that lockout, you can argue it better standardizes tightness, and it's even better for pure upper chest gains. That said, I would recommend full range of motion on the inclined dumbbell bench press because now you do have the converging effect. So you're coming completely out, getting a maximum stretch on the pecs, and then you can fully adduct the humerus. And I find that with dumbbells, you want to make sure that it's as stable as possible. There's already extra coordination involved, so we don't want to overcomplicate this lift. Instead, just standardize it, go all the way to the top. It'll fill in the gaps for those who aren't locking out their barbell presses. Regardless, the key is that you're never compromising full range of motion. So a lot of guys are doing dumbbell presses to around 90 degrees or so. I can't even do half reps because I never train like that, even from day one. So they're doing this and they're like, oh, dumbbells are so much better than barbells because you get a better stretch on the pecs. And it's like, what extra stretch are you talking about? You're getting less range of motion than most presses. So you have to use dumbbells in the correct context, going all the way down. Heck, you could even bring dumbbells in like this. That's really stretching you to the max. But if you don't like being somewhat internally rotated, then okay, fine. Barrel press that shit. Neutral grips, keep vertical forearms so it's not turning into a fly. And wow, I'm in the same deep angle. So if you're not doing this, if you don't even feel the plates on your shoulders, and you need to drop your ego. Also, control the negative. Make sure the dumbbells are coming out, not staying super tight in by your sides, okay? So come out adduct. If you were doing 120s on the incline, good luck even getting 100 pounds using full range of motion. In fact, if you slow down your tempo, you might lose around 40% of your strength. Now there's levels to this. Your arm length will also make a difference. It doesn't have to be an exact 4 to 5 second eccentric. It could be less. And the pause could be quite brief. But if you do it slowly like this, I promise that none of you will max out the dumbbell rack. Alright guys, so that's how you incline bench press for upper chest hypertrophy. Everything I showed you applies to the barbell and dumbbell version. So enjoy getting jacked with free weights. It's really not that complicated. And I will see you in the next upper chest segment.